Well, good afternoon. Um, Welcome back. Well, hopefully back. If you're your first time, welcome. Um, I need to come up with a name. Maybe Psychos for the people that follow my channel, since it is Moto Psyched. Yeah, probably good. So, good afternoon, Psychos. Welcome back. Today we are repairing. Unfortunately, the wonderful part of owning motorcycles is having to fix them when something breaks. And so today we are working with this. For those of you that don't know what this is a rear brake pressure switch. And so unfortunately with my bike, right now the rear brake, when I press on the pedal, nothing happens. Or the light doesn't turn on at least. And so today we're going to fix that. Let me unlock it here. And then I'm going to turn you around here so that way you can see. So here we have the bike. Yeah. Rear brake light. It's blinking because of the frame rate. But when I pull on the handbrake, you're able to see it flashes, comes on, brake comes on. However, when I step on the rear brake pedal, nothing. And so with the brake, there's two things that it can be. One is either the rear brake switch, which is what we're replacing today, or it's the wiring. So I'm not going to do this as a tutorial. There's plenty of videos out there where you can learn how to repair this. What I am going to show you is where it's at and how I diagnose that it's the rear brake switch. So on this street light, if we look down here, right behind the exhaust is the rear brake switch that I'm replacing. On it, it's pretty simple. It's just screwed in here to the brake line. It runs all the way from the reservoir up front back to this switch, and then it has these two plugs on it. So the way you diagnose this is you unhook these two plugs and you stick a wire in there. I just found a piece of wire. You stick it in there, turn on the bike, and if the wire's in there creating a closed circuit, the brake light should come on the back. When you remove the wire, brake light should come off. That tells you that it's from here to the reservoir that the issue is. Instead of if you would put the wire in there, turn on the bike, and the brake light doesn't come on, then you have a wiring issue between the brake light switch and the brake light itself, which I'm glad this isn't, so I don't have to tear the whole bike apart. And yes, I get it. My bike's dirty. There's some rust spots. I don't care. I ride this thing daily. I just like to ride, and so I like to clean it up every once in a while, but yeah, it's not perfect. But anyway, we're going to fix this today. I'm not going to show you me fixing it because, again, there's plenty of videos out there for you to see the process. But when we do this, we'll go ahead, pull this out, put the new one in, put the pieces back on, and then we have to bleed the brakes because this is feeding directly into the brake line. And so it'll create an air bubble in there, and we need to go ahead and get that out of there. So I'll come back once I've replaced this and we go ahead and it's time to bleed the brakes. I'll go ahead and bleed them, and again, I'm not going to do a tutorial on it because there are plenty of videos that you can watch out there about that. But I'll go ahead and bleed these brakes. We'll make sure it works, and then we're going to go for a test ride. Make sure everything's good to go. So, just so you're aware, with these brake light switches, they do have a tendency to go out. Sometimes they're located right at the reservoir. Up the front, they're attached right to the back of it, depending upon the model you have. Sometimes they're back here on at least the Street Glide and other touring models. They have a tendency to go out. They're underneath, they get hit with rocks, they're by the exhaust, so it's hot. They fail. It's just kind of part of owning a Harley. So it's a $25 part at Harley Davidson. They picked it up, or my wife picked it up for me because she works out by our local Harley dealership here in Washington. So it's not an expensive repair. It's just one that has to be made from time to time. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get this worked on, get this fixed. I'll be back with you once we go ahead, or once it's installed, so that way we can go ahead, bleed the brakes and make sure everything's working. Brand new shiny switches put on. Cables are reattached, but I wanted to show you. If we go ahead, turn it on, and we step on the rear brake pedal, see it flashing, see the brakes come on. So it is working now, and so we don't want to air bubble in our brake line. So I'll go ahead, I'm going to bleed the brakes. My wife is going to come out and help me make sure the reservoir is being filled while that's happening. One thing I did pick up, let's see here. So one thing I picked up, I'm going to show you here. I went to, and they got these brake bleeder kits. It's a vacuum pump that you pump up, probably about 10 psi, hook it up to your brake lines, and then it goes ahead and it pulls the brake fluid through the line from your reservoir. You just got to make sure you keep filling the reservoir so that way it doesn't create air bubbles at the beginning of the line. But I think it was, I don't know, it wasn't very much money, but it's a great thing to have on. It'll work for your bike, for your car. Makes it easy to get the brake fluid through the brake line without having to pump up the brake pedal. So just something you might want to look into. But I'll go ahead, I'm going to get these go ahead and get these brakes bled, and then I'm going to go ahead and take it for a ride, make sure we got everything working the way we're supposed to. So yeah, we'll be back as soon as the brakes are bled and we start the ride. All right, well, we are done. I did not get the ride video. Unfortunately, my camera died. This is later in the day, but one thing I wanted to show you guys, a while back I put a Tab Performance 4-inch BAM stick exhaust on my bike, and I got the before video and I never did an after video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now of the sound difference, and I'll post the first video of the stock pipe now, and then do the Tab Performance afterwards. I love the exhaust. They are fantastic. They're loud, really loud. I have the zombie baffles in them, very loud. But when you're going down the highway, it's not bad. But when you want to crack on it and get that sound out of them, it's definitely there. So yeah, I'll go ahead and start up the bike here so you can hear that. So I know there's a lot of videos about exhaust, and sometimes they don't come out too great due to distortion of the microphone. I am using an external mic, so hopefully it was able to capture it. But yeah, really happy with that. Waiting for my handlebars to get here. There was a back order, I guess, so hopefully be here in at least a couple weeks so I can get them on before I head to Sturgis. But yeah, if you guys see my video and you're going to be at Sturgis, let me know in the comments so that way we can go ahead. I like to meet up with people and start to build this community a little bit. So thanks guys for watching. Comment, subscribe, like the video if you like this content. Let me know in the comments if there's something you want to see. Hopefully we can get that done for you. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the ride.